Hello, this is Lara from Create Access. In this video, you will learn about different devices in Unreal Editor for Fortnite and how to use them on your island to create interactive experiences. Devices and trigger events in UEFN encourage players to engage with what you've created on your island and help you make it more interactive. With devices, you can trigger messages to appear on the screen, audio to play, player to teleport, and much more. While each device is different, in the core they all work the same. In this guide, you will learn about how to set up and configure a few devices, but you will be able to apply the skills you've learned to other devices as well. Open the content drawer. All devices within UEFN can be found in the Devices folder. There are subfolders breaking devices into different categories. Feel free to explore these folders on your own. If you need a specific device, you can also search for it in the search bar of the content drawer. If you hover over a device, a short description and the details of the device will pop up on a new window. This window can be very helpful if you're exploring new devices. Sometimes, the details will also point you towards other devices with similar functionality. When you decide which device you would like to use, click and drag it onto your island. All devices are configured from the Details panel on the right. We will be using some of these settings in the next steps of this guide. If you don't see the Details panel on the right, you can open it by going to Window and selecting Details. The first example of a device we will configure is a teleporter. Teleporters allow the creator to connect two locations on their island and give the player the ability to teleport between those two locations by walking into the device. With a simple setup, you can link two teleporters together, and the players on your island will be able to go back and forth between the two teleporters as much as they want. To start, search for the teleporter device in the content drawer. Click and drag the teleporter device onto your island twice. Position each teleporter to the desired location with the Move gizmo. You can access the Move gizmo by using the Move icon at the top of the viewport or by pressing W on your keyboard. When the teleporters are positioned the way you want, click on the first one and head to the Details panel on the right. Here, make sure the teleporter group is set to Group A. Do the same for the second teleport device and make sure it's also in Group A. This setting will make sure that these two teleporters are linked together and the player is able to teleport between them. For example, if you would like to have another set of teleporters in another section of your island, you can set those teleporter devices to be in Group B. This way, the two new teleporters will be linked together in Group B, but they will not be getting mixed with the initial teleporters in Group A. By keeping an eye on your group settings, you can have as many teleporters as you want on your island, connected to different points as you wish. When you're ready to test the teleporters, click on Launch Session on top of the viewport. Your island will launch in Fortnite, and you'll be able to test the teleporters on your island. The next example in this guide is the button and pop-up dialog devices. We will configure these two devices together, so when a player presses the button, a dialog box will pop up in the game and give players some information. In the content drawer, search for a button device and drag it onto your island. Next, search for a pop-up dialog and drag that onto your island as well. Select the button device and look for user options in the Details panel. In the interaction text setting, you can customize the text that displays when a player hovers over the button in the game. You can use this text box to give instructions or explanations to the player. For example, you can type display info, and the player will understand that when they press this button, information will be displayed. Next, select the pop-up dialog device and look for user options in the Details panel. Similar to the button device, here you can customize the text that the pop-up dialog device displays. Use the title and description text boxes to type in your custom text. The pop-up dialog device comes with some buttons that the player can click on after reading the information. You can customize how many buttons the dialog box will have and what these buttons will say. By default, the response type is set to 2 buttons. If you scroll down to the advanced settings, these buttons are called OK and Cancelled. You can type in your own text and change these buttons in the settings if you'd like. Now, let's configure these two devices. So when the player presses the button on your island, the dialog box pops up. Select the pop-up dialog device and scroll down to the User Options Function section in the Details panel. In the Show option, click on the plus sign to add a new device. Click on the first drop-down and select the button device you've added to your island. For the second drop-down, select On Interact. With these settings, you've configured your pop-up dialog box to show when the button is interacted with by the player. When ready, click on Launch Session to test your devices in gameplay. Now that you've configured a few different devices in UEFN, you can look through other devices and set them up with more confidence. For example, when pressed, the button device can play a sound with the audio player device or start a timer with the timer device. The possibilities are quite endless, and UEFN gives the creators a lot of flexibility to explore and create their own gameplays with the devices. Have fun creating, and thanks for watching.